what an amazing gift that we take for granted all the time, our ability to get out of bed and move across the house and go outside and enjoy this beautiful weather. So it's been a minute since we had one of these walks, and I've been thinking a lot about how much these have changed my life. Yes, talking to you, but all of the times that I do this without you as well. I dedicated myself to these walks last summer, just like I dedicated myself to the gym and to sobriety and nutrition. As the weather got cold, I started doing crazy things. I was wearing ski pants. I was still getting up before sunrise, and it just became impossible to do. So that's when I switched these 3:30 wake ups and 2-hour workouts in the morning. But something I heard this recently on a podcast that a lot of the ancients, philosophers, writers, creatives throughout history have really put a lot of time into walking on a daily basis, thinking, creating, analyzing, philosophizing, if that's even the right way to say that word. And so there's something here that is, mentally, spiritually pure, cleansing, good, healthy. Just the sunlight itself. I was raised my whole life, it's going to give you cancer, it's terrible, we got to hide from it. Yet it's the source of life for so much, and it has such a positive impact on you as well. We're going to switch the hat and go glasses. A little too bright to just look at you here. So, I really realized how important it is to just get out and do this. For me, it was 2 to 3 times a day. And I've pushed a lot of this stuff too hard. Whether it was giving myself tendonitis on both elbows and both knees. Years later, I'm still trying to work through little bits of it here and there. Whether it was over dieting and starving myself to the point that my blood work was scary and my body was eating itself. Overdone a lot of things, and the walks were part of that deficit of living fasted and only eating protein. And so hey, I even overdid that. I overdid my daily walks, but I fell in love with them. And there's 2 parts to it: just being outdoors, being in the sun, mentally, spiritually, just feeling better. But really, I'm never gonna find the right setup here. There we go. The physical activity too. The fact that you're getting in those steps. I've got this fitness monitor on my other wrist. I'm not going to show you because I'm fighting with the jacket. And it's funny, when I was going through that hardcore diet for my, I did a 97-day, just brutal, unhealthy, unwise, battery died. But here's the point. I figured out that during this brutal diet, I was going every morning to the gym, fasted cardio on the elliptical, and I'd go and just wreck myself for 30 minutes, come home sweaty. I hated it. It was miserable. It was the second worst part of that whole 97 days of starvation and just brutality. But I saw that through. I saw it all the way through. I did it well. Maybe I'll put up a couple clips of the results. But I hated doing that, but I knew how important it was for me to keep moving, especially closing in on my mid-40s now. So I bought one of these old fitness trackers, and I timed, how long did it take from the time I walked out the front door, did my elliptical at the gym, got back home. It was around an hour, sometimes a little longer. If I was really in a hurry, I could do it in about 50 minutes. So I was like, well, hey, let's just try walking right out of the front door. Put this thing on and say, okay, I'm going to walk for 50 minutes, like the bare minimum I would ever do on the elliptical. And I was always burning just a little bit more calories than I was there. No wear and tear on the vehicle, no gas burnt, no chance of getting in a wreck or having somebody back into my vehicle in the parking lot. And some of these days, depending on the weather, it got pretty warm. This was coming into spring, into summer, So there were some days where I was still able to go out, get my walk in the morning, and take my shower after the gym later. But whereas with the elliptical, I had to take a shower in the morning and the evening to feel good during the day and go to sleep well, which was just getting too much. So I was spending more time to get less results. So I started going on these walks, and I started listening to podcasts, and that was pretty interesting. And then I started having conversations with you, which seemed like an amazing multi-purpose use of that time. And I truly just fell in love with that time, it was often when I wasn't talking to you, I had my headphones, but I didn't put them on. I might walk for an hour listening. I might have been in an industrial area and kind of icky, drizzly weather. No pretty views, no nice sounds, but there was still just something really nice about the ambient sound and just being present and just knowing, yep, okay, I'm in this walk now. The weather sucks, but I committed to it just like the gym. So we're just gonna put our head down and get through it and just be grateful for every moment of presence, of thought, of ambience, of ability to walk. Man, I went for a long time in my life without the ability to walk, and I've watched family members and friends and people I've known throughout life decline to where they lose that ability. What an amazing gift that we take for granted all the time, our ability to get out of bed and move across the house and go outside and enjoy this beautiful weather and do crazy things like sell everything and build a 4x4 camper and buy a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere and say, I have no idea how to build a house, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna build one with my hands. I'm gonna do it. And then and you guys are all gonna come out here. This is gonna be the base of the comeback camp where we all come out and train and eat and cook together and get this, really share this thing that I've learned about physical fitness, about choosing discomfort, about creating self-belief through actions versus thinking we're going to achieve the result first and that's what's going to build us up. No, we're going to build ourselves up and then the results are going to happen. Everybody's got it all backwards. We don't need the validation of the outcome. What we need is the validation of the habits and the hard work and the consistency and the fact that I know every day I'm going to get up and I'm not going to miss my gym sessions. I know that I'm going to be out here working out in the dirt, whether when the wind is up and I'm just getting covered in dirt and I'm not going to be to the hot springs to shower off until the next day and all I have is cold well water and that's how I'm going to shower up. That's my vision, because I was never supposed to trade hours for dollars to follow directions and slowly and steadily build something over time. Instead, for me, life was all about a bunch of really big risks, a bunch of real possible opportunity, a bunch of really bad outcomes, and lessons that were worthy of learning through all of that experience and all of the things that went wrong and all of the setbacks. That's the stuff that, even if you are fortunate enough to come into an environment of true nepotism and family that deeply understands finance and investment and things, even if they bring you up and they make it very possible for you to get to a place that most people don't understand and are never going to get to, problems are going to arise. You have to have hardships that you overcome in life. We have to be challenged. We have to be uncomfortable. And we have to get onto the other side of things that were just debilitating at one point. And that's where confidence, where self-belief, where momentum, where validation, where everything that's important can come from. It's not from the end result. It's not from something superficial. It's from the process, as long as you stay consistent to that version of yourself who continues to move in that same direction. And this process for me is now 4.5 years of fitness, 2.5 years of no alcohol, no fast food, and this is a long ways from where I'm going, but if you've been with me from the beginning or you've seen any of these flashbacks from where my skinny, fat, pear-shaped, divorced, addicted, defeated version of myself was 4.5 years ago, I'm not satisfied with the end result, but I'm sure satisfied with the progress. And as long as you're making progress towards whatever is important to you in life, it's not the outcome, it's not the goal, it's not the achievement that is the greatest part of that. It is the habits and the consistency, and that's where the validation comes from, because the outcome will come eventually. I truly believe this. I haven't struck gold yet. I don't have my first $1 million or 1 million followers, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change anything different. I've got basically 4 things that I will always stick to. Always eat right, never drink, always work out, always keep creating. So 3 positives, 1 negative. Never drink, always eat right. That could be negative too. Always eat right means never eat wrong. it's insane. And yeah, it's hard at first, and then you understand it, and then you start to feel better, and you start to really get all the different macro and micronutrients, and you start to plan this out, and you understand how your body works, and it becomes interesting. It becomes a puzzle and a hobby and an interest and a habit, and your body becomes addicted to eating these good foods instead of just stuffing our face full of salty, sodium-filled, processed, fake whatever, candy, sugar-filled, processed. If I really want a sweet treat, what do? Well, I take some of my sugar, no sugar added frozen berries and mango, and they'll sit in the fridge for a few days and thaw out, and then I'll throw them in a bowl, and I'll dump a whole bunch of vanilla protein powder on them. I'll stir it all up, and I'll snack on this low-calorie, high-protein meal. You can make it a little higher calorie if you go too heavy on the fruit, but pretty filling with maybe a cup total of fruit, about 80 calories. I don't know what the sugar is in that. And then, throw in another, half scoop to a full scoop of protein, 15 to 30 grams of protein, another, 70 to 140 or less calories. So, well, for those of you who have been coming along on some of this, you probably figured out now, I've been talking to you from this little environment here. Majority of my time, it was getting rough into the winter. Now, I never stopped going to the gym. I didn't stop with any of my habits, and that's what carried me through. Those habits were what kept me where I was in not a real positive place, but I knew it was under my control, and I knew it was coming to an end. And I knew the way to keep it managed was always work out, never drink, always eat right, and always keep creating. Once I hit the road, I've been able to really focus on being behind the camera for my main channel. I'm getting back to actually cinematic storytelling, getting to my roots, stopping trying to chase trends, whatever, value-based content, tips and tricks, comparisons. I'm just bringing people out on adventures with me and hopefully inspiring them to find their own version and path that brings them the same happiness. As you can tell, this smile just comes onto my face talking to you, being out here in this remote environment, 40 miles away from the closest Walmart, happily. There's a a very non-densely used highway about a mile away. National park over here, BLM land, national forest all around. Favorite hot springs 8 miles that way, another hot spring 2 miles over there. Monarch ski slope 45 minutes that way, a little bit less in the summertime. I wonder if they do downhill. Definitely love me some downhill mountain biking, for those of you who aren't big handlebar wheelie gearheads. So anyways, get out and take some walks. Promise, man. There's a couple of these little glitches I've found along the way that make a big difference. Dedicate yourself to at least 30 minutes of walks, at least once a day. One of the other biggest glitches, and maybe I'll throw a card up here if I remember when I'm coming through this. You want to look better. We all want to go to the gym and get that physique like we see on TV, social media, whatever. There's a quick way to make a big difference. Everybody's telling you here, take this pill, take this shot, do this program, and in 30 days and 90 days, you're going to look like you never believed in. It's all a bunch of crap. But you know what you can do? You can fix your posture in 30 days. You can analyze what's wrong with it and fix the imbalances, and that will make you look and feel a whole lot different. Small glitch, 30 days, a couple minutes a day. I'll put a link up here. Simple way to make life better. So, walks, posture, couple of simple things anybody can dedicate themselves to doing, and that video will actually bring you to how to analyze, adjust, and fix your posture through my favorite fitness guy who really has helped me understand this. So you'll get another resource. So if you go from this video to that video, that'll then take you to another video. Thanks for chilling, guys.